Hey, welcome back. We're back. It's another episode of Tough Times 2. This is episode 6. I have my comedian friend here, James McAliney. Did I say your last name right?
Yeah, you did.
You know, it's tough. It's tough to say last names. You know, it's a nightmare when you're a host of a mic.
Yeah.
And like somebody asks you to be the host of a mic, and you're supposed to know all these comics that are there.
Okay, so
and you just butcher names.
Here's my advice. Here's the only thing that I care about, because if you have a shitty name that's hard for people to pronounce, like you know that, so you're not going to judge people. The only thing I hate is when someone says my name like James McAliney. You know, Don't ever announce it. Just whatever you say, just be confident with it, and then that's fine.
You got to commit.
The worst situation is like when you get on stage and you have to, they like leave your last name with a question, so you have to address that. So you have to explain to all these people who don't give a shit what your name is, how you pronounce your last name. You just dig yourself into a hole. It's like no one cares.
And then you leave the audience with like a puzzle too. They're like not listening to the first 30 seconds of whatever you're saying.
Yeah, they're like, we don't care. He's not Jerry Seinfeld or Aziz Ansari? Go fuck yourself. James McAliney. Oh, okay. Oh, that kid. Oh, yes. You're the guy with that YouTube channel with 500 subscribers. You must be famous.
Is that where you're sitting at now?
No, I'm at like 660 or
That's
something.
That's fun. Yeah. I think I'm approaching 600. I'm coming up on 6.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's getting big. And I'll tell people that I'm coming up on 6, and they'll just be like, "That's cool, man." Like, you know, like they don't care much, and I'm like, "This is a big deal, man."
Dude,
we're on the way.
Dude, yeah. Only people who like also like edit videos and produce videos know how much hard work it is. Dude, I try to impress people all the time. They don't give a shit. Yeah.
And sometimes I try to understand what people are saying in the comments on YouTube too. I mean, do you get commenters? I get very few, but like whenever I get one, I try to like understand what they're saying.
Yes.
Like,
I get.
You know.
Well, the trick is to like do something. If you spread it on like Facebook and Reddit, like I did a lot of videos.
You spread yours on Reddit.
I do. Yeah.
I need to get on that more, man. I know Reddit's kind of like weird about self promotion, though, right? Like,
it's not been working. I've been getting the most. I used to get a lot. So the trick is to like do something that pisses people off.
That's good.
And then you get a lot of. So I've done like.
That is like the key to viral.
Dude, you want me to go through?
Like really piss somebody
Dude, my
off.
last video, not my last video, but 2 videos ago, someone said like, "What a ghoulish video! How dare you insult the town of Cincinnati?"
I thought of even just a simpler one right now. It's just like it would be like a simple one of me going to the fridge, pouring a glass of milk, and then drinking straight from the milk. Like people would be like, "What's the point? What are you doing here?" You know, they'd just be all mad at me for like not using the glass that I just poured, and like, what am I gonna do with the glass? I just end the video there.
They're like, "What kind of sick
that's
fetish
an instant
video
viral.
is this?"
Yeah, exactly. I feel like that's a quick 50,000 views. You know, I identify.
Okay, yeah. It's harder because I bet there's a lot of competition with those like milk drinking videos.
Of course, there's a lot.
I had a friend of ours actually is a comedian with like a common name. And if you put his common name into YouTube, it would show up. There would be a YouTube channel with over 1,000 subscribers that was just mud porn, like safe for work mud fetish porn, where it's like a white boot getting dirty in the mud. You know, woman with bare. No, they didn't call it, but it was like on YouTube. Like, you know, you can't have like bad porn on YouTube. So it was just like, it was like a woman's feet in the mud, you know? It was like, it's gone now, man. But yeah, it was like a really well shot. Like they have 4K DSLRs.
It's like, and I don't even frown upon those people. I just like, I'm a little slightly jealous that they've exploited a market that like I can't get my hands on, I guess. I guess,
yeah.
Like, I mean, if you knew somebody with some sexy feet, I mean, you'd probably be at their door every day. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Just walk through this peanut butter.
We'll both make
I
think the trick was like the sound. Like they really like the.
It's the ASMR.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's crazy what's popular nowadays.
Yeah.
You ever scroll on TikTok for like more than 5 minutes and you're like, what did I just watch? Like, what just happened?
I wish my TikTok like figured me out, and they're like, this guy is lame and he sucks. So it's all. It's like most of it, like 90% of it is like just people reading. Reddit posts to me.
That's pretty funny.
And I hate them, but I'm also like, it's like, my wife just caught cheating on me with 2 guys, and I'm about to surprise her, and like I hate that, and I feel like a horrible person listening to that, but I just can't stop it, and TikTok knows it. They're like, yeah, you like this shit, you dumb idiot, and they keep giving it to me.
My algorithm is hitting me in a weird way right now. They keep kicking me videos of live streamers on TikTok.
Okay, yeah.
The ones that are like, if you join my live, I have to pour this on my head. Don't join my live. It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
psychology.
No, what it is-
and I'm like, what's going on here?
Yeah, no, I've seen
Do you
those.
not want me to join?
Well-
Do you want me to join?
No, it's always like I'm trying to beat Mario Kart DS in 2 hours. And if I don't do it, I have to do what the top comment says, or if I don't do it, I have to eat a whole box of Cheetos live on TV. Come join me on Twitch.
Dude, some of the worst is like the people that you're scrolling and they're just like sleeping.
Yeah, I've never seen
Oh,
that.
dude, it's just like their whole page. Their
Yeah.
whole content page is based off of them sleeping, and then you
Yeah.
can drop gifts and whatnot. I don't know if the gifts equal money or something, or some sort of currency that you can.
Oh, like
transfer it
bits?
into.
Oh, for Twitch?
No,
But-
no, this is all on. I think it might be on Twitch, but it's on TikTok.
Yeah, a lot
mainly.
of TikTok.
It's
A
like
lot
the
of
top commenter can make chaos happen in the room
Yeah.
when the guy's sleeping and interrupt his sleep.
oh,
like the
okay.
guy's not
I've
sleeping,
heard of that.
others sleeping.
I've heard of that a
It's
while
bizarre,
ago.
man. But
Yeah.
like, but then it's just like heartbreaking when you're like, this profile can't have that many followers, and you click on their
Yeah.
profile, it's like 1.2 million people are following this guy.
Yeah.
just watching him sleep every night.
Yeah,
Guy
it's-
makes money in his sleep. He's like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's because I think
feels
it's
wrong.
you donate money to wake them up, so it's a way to get people to wake. Yeah, it's so dumb.
It's crazy that there's that many people that want to make somebody else's, a stranger's life miserable, even though they're not making it miserable, you know?
Yeah.
You're donating money. They're obviously happy that you're donating this money.
Well, it's like you don't. It's because you don't have like agency. Like no one's paying attention to you in your real life. So you're like, if I throw some money
So
around,
true.
this hot girl in a hot tub will say, "Hello, what's going on?" At James McAliney.
Good marketing.
And then so people like, hey, can you shout out my brother? It's his 12th birthday, or bullshit like.
Kind of crazy to see what it's becoming now. I mean,
Yeah.
I actually was scrolling the other day. They were doing an award show for
Yeah.
streamers,
Yeah,
and there was 97,000 people watching it live.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, right. It sounds kind of crazy. You're like, man, I can't imagine. I can imagine that there's a network out there
Yeah.
somewhere on TV right now
Yeah,
has probably like nowhere near a third of that
right.
watching that channel live.
Yeah. And it's a lot of it's like Twitch streamers are big. YouTube's trying to get into streaming now.
I've been trying to understand Twitch a little bit more. I thought about committing to a lifestyle of just Twitch streaming with a webcam.
It almost seems like YouTube live streaming is better because the algorithm
it
is
does.
better, and
I mean, like,
you could do that on YouTube. Yeah.
how do you feel about IG compared to all? What's your favorite app to post anything on? Content.
It's still YouTube.
Really?
I like long form YouTube channels because they're my favorite to make.
It is fun, and I do enjoy YouTube. But right now, it's just like I give it to IG because they're paying me.
Okay, well,
It's like very
money.
minimal. It's
Money
not
is
a
good.
lot, but you follow the money. But I mean, like,
Yeah,
I
money's
do-
good.
I do enjoy the community on YouTube more. Like,
Yeah, the
our
community
latest
is still the
video-
best at this level.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Like comments we were just talking about.
Yeah.
My favorite comment I got recently was like I deciphered it my own way, but
Yeah.
the only thing that the person said was "Remember me," and it was like on. It was
Yeah.
weirdly spaced too. There was a bunch
Yeah.
of spaces in between "Remember" and
Yeah.
me. It was like
Yeah.
7 spaces.
Yeah.
It was a lot, and all I could think was like, well, I mean, I guess this guy just is assuming that we're gonna be huge one day. He's just
Yeah.
assuming that we're gonna be mega, and he just doesn't want us to forget him. So I was like, I'll never forget.
Yeah.
Because I grew up in that era of never forgetting. So it's just like I just added to my list like 9/11. This kid.
Yeah. No, I remember when I was very young, my sister was like, I'm going to do this and don't ever forget that. And so I haven't forgotten
Yeah,
that.
that's funny.
She's forgotten it a while ago.
Yeah, you're just like every day you're like, man, should I tell her? Should I tell her?
Yeah, no,
Not today.
you know what I should? Yeah, I should go up to her and be like, "Hey, remember that?" Because we were
This
having
has
an
been
argument
eating
like,
at me.
"I have the best memory." No, when we were like 5 years old, you know.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
um,
Yeah, I've had some memories with that.
yeah, it is crazy. And also the thing with YouTube is, like your old videos like stay active the longest. I feel like
Kind of love that. I love that.
TikTok's
it's like,
good with that way too.
it compiles. Well, here's
Yeah.
the thing with TikTok now.
Yeah.
They're starting to go back. Like, I'm glad I hopped off the train of using other people's sounds. Like, when you use
Yeah.
other people's music,
Eventually,
you're infringing on.
eventually
some sort
they
of
cut
musical
off the
rights.
volume. Yeah.
And eventually they cut off the volume, which is they're starting to do now. Like, if you've ever,
Yeah.
I don't know, I don't use audios that much on
Yeah.
TikTok, like musical audios, because like I believe I want to own the rights to everything that I put out.
Yeah.
So when I do put that out, and I went to use an audio for the first time,
Yeah.
they didn't have anything.
Yeah.
It was like all generic beats and music, and I was
Yeah.
like, wow. I was like, this is kind of funny,
Yeah.
but it's like, it's kind of how it should be.
I got held hostage on YouTube recently
Really?
for that. Yeah, they got me for like $150.
Really?
Yeah. So what happened was it was pretty insidious what they did.
Wow.
What happened was they put their stuff on a free website, but they licensed it in such a way where I wasn't completely careful, where it was like free to distribute, free to take, but if you used
What
it on a
website
video,
was this? I've been using websites.
Free Music Archive. So
Man.
so
Go
what
back
they
and
did
look.
is then they struck my videos, and they're like,
All of them?
no, just a few of my
Wow.
videos, and that used this music, and they're like, yeah, pay, and I was like, I don't care, I'll just eat the one strike, it'll go away in 90 days. You'll just get all the money, which is zero for these videos. And so I like contact them. They're like, yeah, you have to pay money. I'm like, whatever, I don't have to do it. And so what they did is they only struck a few videos, so I had one strike, and then a couple months later a month later they struck some more videos. So it was 2 strikes for the same thing, which is quite shitty. I'm like, oh, one more
double
strike,
jeopardy,
I'm dead. So I paid them, and I'm like, I'm never using your shit again. They're like, yeah, no, here's all the music you can use. I'm like, no, I'm never using your shit.
Oh
You suck.
my God.
So yeah, you got to be
That's so
careful about that.
frustrating.
You got to read the exact license and stuff.
It's so bizarre, man, because like even when I started the show Tough Times, I was like, I want to find a cool intro song.
Yeah.
And I did find one.
Uh-huh.
By a European artist named Raph Rundell.
Yeah.
I actually called this guy.
Okay.
Yeah, he wasn't that big of an artist. I called him,
Uh-huh.
and the guy was just like, "Sure, man, you can use my music."
Did you?
And I
Yeah.
was like, "Hey, can I like,
Can I get it in
that
writing?
guy- can I get that in writing?" And he was
Yeah.
just like, "Shoot me a DM." And I
Okay.
shot him a DM, and he was like, "Yeah, you could use my music
Oh, that's
as long
good.
as you're not like supporting Nazi stuff." I was like, "All right, cool." Anyway,
Yeah.
let's talk about some comedy stuff here. So you've traveled all over. You haven't done anything international yet, have you?
No, I have not.
But you would think about it.
Yeah, for sure.
I could see you kind of slaying cruise ships. I feel like
Cruise ships.
I don't know. It's just like I feel like I
Dude,
feel like
that
you
would
would
be-
enjoy it. I don't know
Dude,
why.
I would
I
like
feel like
that
you would
shit.
enjoy
Dude,
it.
I like that shit.
I would enjoy it too.
The thing is,
personally.
I'm
I'd
not-
take any gig, but
I'm not as clean or as like broad to do stuff like that yet, but that would be I would love to have
like I
that's
feel like
the-
I feel like a scenario for
Yeah.
both of us is like we're both doing separate cruises, and like
Yeah.
it's like when the cruise ships dock at like
Yeah.
up in Bermuda,
We
we would swap. And
yeah,
you'd be like,
yeah.
yeah, man, how's that cruise over there? You'd be like, it's all right.
Oh, it's okay.
I just picture you being like the food sucks, you know.
Dude, I love playing people over 65. Just, yeah, the bartenders, I remember, because they force you to buy drinks for New York
course.
mics. So
They're pretty
what
good at forcing you to
everyone
buy
does,
drinks, too.
what everyone does is you just pay the flat price. You know, you don't tip when you're forced to buy a drink. So I didn't tip, and he's like, "Oh wow, no tip out loud."
Wow, you hit me with the no tip out loud.
And I was like, "Fuck."
I've been there. I've done that.
And then I ran and hid in the bathroom again.
When I was delivering pizza and I got to like the end of my pizza career,
Yeah.
I was delivering pizza after I got a college
Yeah.
degree. So
Yeah.
it was like
Yeah.
ultimately degrading, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like not getting a tip on like a $10 or
Yeah.
$25 order.
Yeah, yeah.
It should be like $3. The house
Right.
is massive, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
That's how I gauge the tip.
Yeah,
I was like, this house is massive. This should be $4 or $5.
yeah.
And the guy came down. He did the whole thing where he was like, "That's all I have," you know. And I was just like, no tip, huh? I was like, man, crazy big ass house. This is like no tip. I was like, it'd be a shame if like I had a GPS address of your house.
Oh, you
what is
said
it?
that?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, I was like, because at the
Yeah.
time, Papa John's, it was like that wasn't the craziest thing you could say at Papa John's.
Okay. Oh yeah. I'm gonna carve in your mailbox. This is a mean gentleman in hobo coat.
Yeah, just so other delivery drivers know not to come here.
Yeah. Get you banned on all the apps.
Yeah, right.
Did it work?
Yeah, he said, "Let me run upstairs."
Oh, good. Yeah, yeah.
Because he felt like a loser, you know. It's
Yeah,
just
no,
like-
for sure. You should tip, unless if you're a bar where you're like, you know how we're gonna make some extra money, so we're gonna set up an open mic and force people to buy drinks. Don't expect a tip. You know, that's just how it
Yeah,
works.
especially at some of the. I mean, like some of these open mics I've been to, it's appalling that they don't have specials on drinks there.
Yeah,
Like this one I've been to, man, it's like outside the city.
yeah,
It's like whatever, but I mean,
yeah.
like $9 for a White Claw.
Oh, is that? I've never bought a White Claw. Is it like what's the normal going rate for a White Claw?
it's the price of a beer. I would assume it's like $3-4. You know, a
Okay.
case of White Claw goes for $20. And you
Okay.
get 12 of them in there. I don't
Yeah.
know if I'm like off on the price.
Yeah.
Like,
And
I mean, they're a distributor.
and like a draft, like an IPA or something, is $7. Is that expensive?
It seems expensive to me.
Okay.
I don't know. What do you think? Is that expensive for beer? How much?
I see a lot of beer. I see a lot of like the fancy breweries serving beers for like $7 these
Yeah,
days.
it's kind of like the new rate, I guess.
Yeah.
I always just go whiskey on the rocks.
Okay.
That's like my whole thing. Do you drink a lot at these open mics?
I don't drink at all at
Smart
open
guy.
mics. Yeah.
Smart guy.
No, I'm just.
My wallet takes a hit when I do it. I mean, like.
Yeah. No, I mean I make up. I buy like shitty food.
Okay.
That's my thing. But yeah, no, I just have a very addictive personality where.
Really?
Yeah, like I can't. I'm addicted to food. I say that.
I've been buying a lot of shitty food at these open mics too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even like. I'm too ashamed to eat in front of anyone, so
Smart.
I buy
Smart.
food before them. And
Yeah.
but it's like it's like I'll go like clean and I'll have like no carbs and sugar for a while, and then I'll just like find myself in like a Wawa with like no control of myself, just buying a shit ton of stuff. I go in my car and then I start eating and like my eyes get all watery and it's like it's real drug addicted behavior, like I know the things that like really hit me hard, like if I want to do the heroin of food, okay, it's a chilled Coke can and then
oh man, a nice
no
Coke.
I'm sorry, that's not the heroin, that's like the
That's like
cocaine.
crack, yeah.
That's the crack. And then the heroin, like the downer that's gonna knock you out and put you to sleep, is like the Ben and Jerry's, like that's there's no food with more stopping power than like a Ben and Jerry's.
Down.
Yeah, it's really addictive. And
mine right now has been chicken. Like any form of chicken has been annihilating me. Like or any type of bird.
Bird?
Yeah, like turkey.
Okay, chicken's like on the healthier end for me. Like chicken's the healthy
chicken is
stuff.
kinda healthy.
Even fried chicken, I'm like, but
I
it's
eat fried chicken
chicken.
and I go right to bed. Like it's like I can't eat that at like noon.
Oh,
I
okay.
actually don't eat lunch anymore.
Okay.
I got rid of lunch. I don't eat breakfast. I actually just do one meal at dinner. That's
you're doing the intermittent fasting.
pretty much. But I invented that, and like people would say,
You
like,
invented that.
Yeah, it's kind of wild. I've been doing it for years.
I invented the hoagie with the mustard on it. I invented the without hoagie.
Oh man,
Gino stole that from me. I invented the keto diet in 1993.
It's gonna sound crazy, but all these restaurants, they do this thing on dough. It's circle. They put cheese and sauce on it.
Yeah.
That was kind of my thing. I was calling it the za for a while. They threw the pizza in front of it. It was just like that.
Have you ever met someone like that?
Who?
They're like, I invented this.
I got tons of people that are like that. It's like, dude, that's my saying.
Because I got a good one too.
They own their words.
Oh, okay. What's some sayings people have invented?
That's valid. I've been hearing that a lot lately.
They're like, I invented that's valid.
Yeah, he's like, bro, that's my whole thing.
That was on like, what a loser.
He tries to tell me I can't say it too. He's like, you can't say that, man.
Hey, you know how that guy like
It's the dictionary.
you know how that guy owns Let's Get Ready to Rumble? That's valid.
He owns that?
Dude, I mean, it is
Yeah, he came at
crazy.
Disney and he like got paid for that.
And doesn't he have a brother who's like, let's get ready to go? Like he owns
Even
something
more
similar?
baffling than that was those brothers didn't even know each other. Did you find out? They just met each other recently.
Wait, they were like separated at birth?
Yeah, and like they had no idea they were brothers.
And they both came up with separate
careers in fucking
in the
doing
same
with the
thing.
announcing. Like,
And
oh, you ready?
I thought it was like Gallagher 1, Gallagher 2 shit. Yeah,
Gallagher, he was. It's funny. I watched the Gallagher special the other day. Funny you brought him up.
Oh, a special?
I watched an entire Gallagher special.
Oh my god. Was there any like racist or weird shit?
It was very weird. I mean, he was smashing fruit and everything.
This is from the 80s?
Yeah, the whole 10 yards, man. He was being crazy out there.
I saw one. Was there like a big couch behind him and shit?
It was it might have been. It was like darker and it was a grainy kind of video footage.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
it was
probably
like
saw
the
something
room
different.
that he was in was like very dark.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
But it's funny, man. You think at a point in his life somebody came to him and was like, "Stop playing with your food," and he was just like, "Hold my fucking beer, bitch." Like he's like, "I'm gonna make this big."
I forget his origin story about what happened, but he was like, because Gallagher wants to be a real comedian. He used to talk about politics. He used to talk about everything.
That's pretty wild.
But when he would smash shit, people would go crazy. So he's like, I guess I'm smashing more shit.
My my intro to Gallagher was on Chappelle's show.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know who Gallagher was,
Yeah.
and then like Chappelle did that whole sketch on him.
I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, he did a Gallagher sketch where he comes out and he's just smashing fruit. And it's like ridiculously funny.
He got to a point where like he would like smash like other things. Like the racism was like he'd smash fruit and he'd be like gay people and he'd smash the fruit. He'd like bring out like Chinese food and smash that, and it got like a little weird there.
Okay.
But he got like cucked by his manager, right?
Really?
Well, what happened was he was the highest grossing comedian of the 1980s.
It's kind of wild.
And he was, if you listen to
he was a higher grossing comedian then?
Nope, he was the highest. He was huge. He had like 10 Showtime specials.
That's so wild.
And
that makes sense why they're all on Amazon Prime now.
And he was so popular, and what else? Yeah, he was just very popular. And then what happened was, he wanted respect. He would always be like, "How come Jay Leno gets a talk show and I don't?" It's like, well, because Jay Leno's not smashing fruit on stage. And then you can listen to like later interviews where he's like inventing stuff. He's like, I invented a machine that takes gold out of water, and he figured out the stock market, and then he lost all his life savings on the stock market.
So he's pretty educated at that point.
Yeah, he's insane. But what happened was he lost.
He's dead now, right?
He's dead now. Yeah. He just died like a month or so ago.
Yeah, I would think it wasn't that long ago. I thought I saw that.
Yeah. But what happened was he was the biggest comedian in the 80s, and his manager was like a big part of that, aggressively pushing him. And then when the 80s leave...
was a big part of that too.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah. Dude, it's so crazy. Like, I listened to an interview with him, and he was like, this girl I really liked was like, he was like in his 40s, and she was 20 or something. And she wasn't interested in me, so I'm like, I know what girls like. I'm going to take you clothes shopping. So she came on the road for me for another 15 years, and I spent hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars on clothes for her. And then when she turned 37, I said, you go and have a life. You're still young. I'm an old guy. And then he just cut her loose.
That's pretty fucking wild.
Dude, it's like, insane.
But like, that's such a comedian thing right there. Yeah. It's like, you don't want to be with some old hat. It's like Larry David would do that, It's just like, you don't want to be with me.
Yeah. You're too old. Yeah, I don't know.
It's like Nicole, which I actually found out about, was it Nicole Kidman? No, it wasn't Kidman. There's a chick, she married that like 89-year-old billionaire.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Nicole something.
Yeah, you're right. She was a supermodel. She married like a 93-year-old billionaire. I looked into that.
I was like, wow.
Is it Anna Nicole Smith?
Anna Nicole Smith, yeah. Yeah, it was pretty wild that she kind of got away with that.
Yeah.
But like she didn't like get any of the money, I don't think.
I don't know, the son fought her and stuff. Yeah, she should have got something. I mean,
I agree.
Maybe not all of it, but she should have gotten.
She spent some time there, man. I'm sure she made that man very happy in his last year.
Yeah, dude. Have you seen the picture of her on his lap?
Guy is terrifying looking.
Dude, it is.
You ever see the movie Mouse Hunt?
Mouse Hunt.
I'll show you the cover of it. Somewhere around here. I thought I just had it sitting out.
Just to end the Gallagher story. So anyway, his manager dropped him in the 90s and picked up Carrot Top, and so
wow. Wow. And he took Carrot Top to the fucking moon.
And then Carrot Top was the highest grossing comedian of the 90s. So
a manager, man. What a hell of a. Where's that guy at? I gotta get that guy on my roster. Right. Fuck.
He's probably dead now too.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah, too much fun in the 80s and the 90s for that guy. I saw Carrot Top had a movie I was pretty interested in checking out the other day. It was
Chairman of the Board?
Yeah, dude. I saw a trailer for it while watching Mouse Hunt.
Well, there's the famous Norm Macdonald clip on Conan. Have you seen that? Where they're interviewing Courtney Thorne-Smith, who was in Chairman of the Board.
No.
She's like, it's this great movie. Carrot Top is in it. And Norm Macdonald goes, oh, Carrot Top in it? I know a better name for it. Box Office Poison. And it's this whole thing. It went very viral.
I like Norm Macdonald, man. Yeah. That guy,
he's like, oh, is board spelled Bored? My favorite thing is when so here's.
You have a favorite city?
Good question. No, I hate them all.
Okay, makes sense.
I don't know. Like I like New York City.
You gotta love the experiences there.
Yeah,
New York's probably my favorite.
I don't know. I'm a suburbs guy, so I have a love-hate relationship with the suburbs. Cities. I don't know. It's just a lot. Like
it is.
Unless you live in the city, it's like hard to go into a city. I actually haven't been to like that many cities to do comedy, but the two main ones I did videos on was Cincinnati more recently and Austin.
Yeah. I saw the
which is
Austin
probably
one
I
all
get
the
my
way.
most like even 2 years later, I still get people showing up to be like all butthurt about. Basically, I said like I went there like in 2020, Thanksgiving of 2020, when everyone's like Austin's going to be the next big comedy hub. You know, we've got Joe Rogan moving, we've got Tony Hinchcliffe, we've got Tom Segura, we've got Tim Dillon. Everyone's gonna move here, and I just went to the like local open mic scene.
Did you drive there or fly there?
I drove there. I
Okay.
stopped in Nashville.
That's fun. So you
on the
did some
way.
mics there too.
Did some mics in Nashville.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I love your documentary style of. I don't know why I said documentary.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Yeah,
but
it's
it's like
like
the style of how you shoot things. It's
Yeah.
almost like a very well shot
Thanks.
documentary style of a comedian's life.
Yeah.
You know?
I put a lot of work
very
into
well
it.
put
It's
together, and the cutting is very good.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I did I went down to Austin. I still get hate 2 years later because I just said basically Austin was I just found it to be like a large college town. All the mics that I went to were like people were like Austin is so like liberal and progressive. They're going to be so PC. You can't say anything. It was just a bunch of like early 20s edgelords dudes saying like oh, I want to say the F word about gay people. Oh, I want to say like they just were just trying to do edgy like hacky stuff, and it sucked. And it talks
competition wise, from here to Philly, from there to Philly, do you think like you look around, you're like, this is like lighter competition, or
yeah, it's a much smaller city.
Which is interesting.
Maybe
'cause,
there's
like,
some like good
everything's bigger over
headliners or
there.
something, but yeah, no, I found it to be not that fun and not that good, and so I just
Gus
made it.
Warren moved out there. You know him?
Yeah, I do. He's in Austin now.
I think he's out in Texas now.
Oh, okay. He was in Atlanta for a while there. Okay,
Wow.
and he was in Europe for a while too.
Wow. Look at
He'd
that
be an
guy
interesting
traveling
guy
around.
to talk to.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, no, I just didn't like it. One of the cool things was like I was talking about Alex Jones on stage, and some guy came up to me. He's like, Alex Jones lives in this town. I'm like, well, have you ever met him? He's like, oh, many times I've been on his show. I'm one of those dentists that doesn't believe in fluoride. I was like, oh, nice. Good to meet you.
You believe in fluoride?
I don't fucking know.
That's me too. I use it, but I mean, like,
My
I don't
teeth are
know.
going to shit, and they're like, you better start using
People
fluoride.
start to talk about it. I'm
Paste.
like, all right, here, what are we doing?
Yeah, no, I've had so many issues with the dentist and stuff
It's
like
brutal.
that.
Yeah, I'm running those.
They OD'd me at the dentist. Did they?
They put you down?
No, they didn't put me down. Well, not intentionally. They accidentally put me down, and they had to
Damn.
call the ambulance and to check
Really?
my heart. Yeah,
Holy hell!
yeah. They so they were just giving me Novocaine. I'm like, oh, it's cool. No, so what happened was, what happened was the first
You
time
guys were all just chilling, getting high on Novocaine.
I hadn't been to the dentist in like over 10 years. So I go there, and they're like, yeah, you got like 8 fillings you need done. I'm like, okay, that's fair, So I get, they're like, it's too many to do all at once. So they do one side, and they do the first side, and they keep having to give me more Novocaine because I keep feeling the pain and stuff like that. And they're like, okay, you know why this is? It's because you're a redhead, and redheads have a gene that
Are you
makes
really saying this?
100%. This is scientifically proven. There's only one gene that's proven to being a redhead, you feel pain differently. So you're more immune to things like Novocaine, and you're less
That's
immune.
wild.
And you're less immune to drugs like opiates and stuff like that. Like you're more likely to
Wow.
get addicted to.
Explains Ron Weasley's whole
Yeah.
drug addiction.
Did he have a drug addiction?
No, but it seems like he did.
Yeah, redheads are more likely to hate the dentist and have drug addictions because of weird shit.
That's so
Like we
interesting.
feel like hot and cold pain. We feel more electrical.
Like you touch an ice cube, you're like, ooh, why is that burning?
Yeah, but then there's other stuff. It's just we have just different genes than everyone else.
That's interesting.
And so they're like, yeah, so you're probably just going to need more Novocaine. Generally, redheads need like 20% more Novocaine, 20% more of that, the
That's
gas
funny.
and stuff like that. So I go in the next time, and it's like, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you I needed more Novocaine last time. Adjust accordingly. Or I just said that's what happened last time. I didn't even say whatever to do. And they're like, okay, yeah, no problem. the dentist is like, here, right before she gives it to me, she's like, a triple shot, just like you asked for. I'm like, I didn't ask for a triple shot.
Like it's like a Starbucks or something.
Right, exactly.
She's like, you asked for the triple shot.
The triple shot.
I had to give it to you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You fat fuck. And so I was just like, whatever. She knows what she's doing, so she gives it to me, and it felt like she like injected like 1,000. I've never had coffee before, but it felt like 1,000 cups of coffee. Actually, I have had it once, and I freaked out. So I'm I'm very susceptible to like caffeine and stuff like that. And so she gives me Novocaine. Novocaine's not like caffeine, but they don't just give you Novocaine. I don't know if they told you that.
The
you know what?
The part is a little like, whoa.
Novocaine's fine. So what happens? But they don't just give you Novocaine. They give you Novocaine, but they cut it with adrenaline. So you know what?
They cut Novocaine with adrenaline. I thought Novocaine knocks you out. And adrenaline wakes you up?
Novocaine numbs
uppers
you.
and downers?
No, so what happens is Novocaine numbs you.
That's the numb.
They actually don't. I'm saying Novocaine because everyone knows it. They use lidocaine and different stuff. But
it's funny that you mentioned lidocaine. I was prescribed the lidocaine patches.
Okay. That's what they use.
Yeah.
It's the same. It's just better Novocaine. It's like newer Novocaine.
Interesting.
So I might be allergic to that. I don't know. So anyway, they cut it with adrenaline because what adrenaline does is it gives more depth to the numbing.
Okay.
So it's like a catalyst for the numbing.
Okay.
It's also that shit like in EpiPen, like, you know, when your throat's clogging out and you're about to die, and so you stab yourself and it like opens up your like it brings you back to life, you know. Yeah. So it's that shit. So, but it's not supposed to do that for me. So all of a sudden I just felt this like rush to the head. Like it's like this survival thing, you know. It's like I feel like I'm running for my life, like a tiger's chasing me.
Oh, wow.
I feel like insane. And she's like, so how you doing? I'm like, I'm not feeling good. and she's like, okay, hang in there. And she starts calling people in, and she's holding me, and I'm just like seeing black and stuff like that. And she's like, so how you feeling now? I'm like, holy fucking shit! I scream at the top of my lungs. Everyone's trying to like looking at me because like I'm right next to like the waiting room. There's kids in the waiting room. There's other people in other dental like offices also getting work done. They're like, this guy's screaming his lungs off. And then I scream my lungs off, and then I pass out. I'm completely out.
Damn. You said no heart attack. You just passed out?
No, I don't think it was a heart attack.
No?
But I definitely passed out. And then I woke up, and they're like...
I just picture like a scene from Pulp Fiction where like they hit her with the Narcan, and she's like, ah!
It was like that. It was like they overdosed me on adrenaline. Like they gave me a huge adrenaline hit. I scream at the top of my lungs, and then I pass out. So they gave me too much. You're not supposed to pass
I
out.
feel like your family would have caught a nice like check.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I passed out, and then I woke up, and they're like all like... They're like, you know, before they didn't give a shit about me. They didn't know my name. They didn't, you know.
Yeah.
Now
all of a sudden they got charts out. They're looking at your shit. They're like, all right,
yeah, exactly. The charts out.
Here.
Like, what did we give this guy last time? You know, like they're like, someone's fanning me. Like I'm sweating like crazy. They're
the chick who gave me the triple shot. She's like in her car sweating somewhere.
No, she's like sitting next to me, like being all, you know. They're all like being so nice and
yeah, of course.
They're like, they're like patting me
get lawsuits.
On the back. They're like, she's talking to me calmly. But I felt really good when I woke up. Like I felt great.
Yeah, you're like, wow, I'm still alive. This is.
I felt great, and she's like, we just want to let you know we have called the ambulance. They are coming. They're just gonna check your heart out. No big deal.
That was like when my friend kind of passed out where you're sitting, and he woke up.
Mm-hmm.
We were just like, hey man.
Yeah.
Don't freak out.
Yeah.
You kind of just passed out.
Yeah.
Here's the water. You know,
yeah.
It's like that's how you kind of gotta like wake people up, I guess.
It was like that.
What a traumatic experience.
And yeah, I woke up.
Like, how do you go back to the dentist the next time now? Right?
Well, I didn't go back to that
dentist.
dentist.
I probably fucking wouldn't after that.
I didn't. So what happened was I passed out. They were like, I was like, at the point like they were like so like like laughing at everything I said, like I was really funny or whatever.
Like you said, you're a comedian, right?
And then she starts making jokes. She's like, well, you know, I was worried that I'd have to do CPR on you, and I'd have to. She's like, I'd have to like flip you off the chair, but you're like a very big guy.
And you're over here like, damn, I'm not.
It's like, oh, okay, yeah, no, I get it. I'm fat. I was like 20 pounds fatter at the time, so I was like, I get it. I'm fat. They're like, well, okay, it seems like you're feeling fine. We're just gonna send you home. I'm like, you're not gonna drill this? Like, I'm not gonna go through this again. So I made them drill me, and they drilled me, and they did it.
Did they give you more Novocaine or no?
No. They only did the back tooth. It was the back tooth. But then I switched to a different dentist, which
I like
which
my
my
dentist.
I switched to a dentist my insurance doesn't cover.
Oh man, nightmare.
So I have to pay like $300 out of pocket and shit.
My guy was cool. Last time I went, it was like probably it was a few years ago, but I had to get a filling, and you almost need 2 fillings, man. And at the time, I was like financially like strapped.
Yeah.
So I was just like, which one's worse? Do that one.
They did that to me. They're like, well, I'm like, so is it? Well, it's like it's getting there. I'm like, okay, well, let's wait till it gets there.
Yeah, I said, you're gonna make me choose, man. We're gonna make me choose. You know,
Yeah.
I said I would go with the one that's worse, and then he was just like, man, I don't want to see you go out there, man, with your hole in your fucking tooth.
Yeah.
He's like, 2 for 1.
Yeah.
He said, do 2 for 1. You got to leave me a review.
Yeah.
And I was like, done. I typed up like the nicest review ever.
So now I think they're just lazy because now like I am like very specific about them. Hey, this happened. Maybe I'm allergic to epinephrine. I don't know. So what they do is they.
It's a wild one to figure out that you're allergic to.
Well, they don't know. They probably just gave me too much.
I'd
But
be bugging out about it. Like if it was in anything, I'd be like, what is that in?
epinephrine.
It's a new word. I've never heard that word.
It's
before.
adrenaline. It's basically
it's
just
adrenaline.
Yeah, epinephrine,
wow.
adrenaline, same like an EpiPen. That's adrenaline.
Okay.
So it's basically
Epi,
just
that
in.
makes sense where the epi comes from.
It's just in those things for
Yeah.
allergic reaction. It's not in everyday things. It's like a pretty
I
heavy
think
drug.
Batman's a pretty big abuser of those in the new movie.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah, that's like his whole thing. I was like,
I saw it. I don't remember. He's like an
he kept
emo.
jamming himself with needles. Like,
Oh,
every time
really?
he'd get in a situation, he'd be like, I can't
Oh.
do this, and then he would just reach into his pocket, pull out a pen, and just jam himself. And
So
then,
he's
like,
an emo, drug addicted.
that or he's diabetic.
Batman,
Yeah, but
he's diabetic.
his
Batman,
blood sugar's getting low.
Batman, you need to jam yourself with needles. Why don't you get one of those machines that?
That's what I'm saying. It's just like
You
he's
can
a
afford it,
billionaire. Bruce
Batman.
Wayne, how does he not have a suit that like is infused with the shit?
Yeah. Oh, that sucks.
Lucius coming to him with some new shit. Morgan Freeman.
Yeah. Is there a new Morgan Freeman?
No.
Oh, there's still
He went back to a white. Oh no.
Well, there was Morgan
He was
Freeman
always
who
white.
ran his company,
Morgan just was
and then
running
there
it
was
the
Michael
Bruce Wayne.
Caine who was like his butler or something.
Michael Caine, phenomenal actor.
Yeah.
He got his book lying around here somewhere.
You do? Phenomenal actor, yeah.
It's like it's funny. The book is called Acting in Film.
But also famously sold out at the end. He's like, "Oh, they're filming Jaws 3 in the Cayman Islands? Yeah, I'll do Jaws 3 and be on vacation for most of that shoot."
Is that what he did?
Yeah.
Jaws 3?
He was in Jaws 3 or Jaws 4, I don't remember.
This is Jaws 4?
I think Jaws 3 was Jaws 3D, so maybe it was Jaws 4. But he was in one of the most horrible
Steven Spielberg
Jaws.
wasn't involved in this.
No, he wasn't. He was only involved in the first one. Yeah, but he did famously did a lot of shitty movies just for the paycheck, and if they were filming
Really?
in Hawaii, yeah, he's like, yeah, I'll do a movie.
My favorite Michael Caine movie is called Dirty, I think it's called like something Brown.
Okay.
He's like an older guy, but he goes out and he's like killing people.
Okay.
Like he's an older man, and him and his best friend, who's also older,
Yeah.
like, walking down the street, and I think they get robbed, and like he just kind of like
Starts killing.
he starts killing.
Now
people.
I'm
He
going to
gets,
have
like,
to
guns
kill
and-
you.
Yeah. It's like all like British and whatnot. It's,
Okay. Yeah.
it's good.
Yeah, I haven't seen much of his catalog. Was he in like the original Italian Job? Was that him?
That's a good call out. I mean, I
Yeah.
haven't seen the original Italian Job in a long time. I'd like to watch that though. I like
Okay.
watching old films now. That's
Yeah.
like my whole thing now.
What
I
what
went
era? Do you like the
went through a-
70s?
I went through a whole era. I watched almost every Bronson film.
Bronson.
Charles Bronson,
What did he do?
like The Mechanic.
Okay.
They've remade The Mechanic with like Jason Statham.
Okay.
And then I even thought about doing a podcast, like where I talk the old versus the new. And I had a guy who was like, he's like 20 years older than me or 10 years older than me.
Yeah.
And he only watches the old ones, and I kind of watch the new.
And you're like, oh, well, let me tell you, movies
Yeah.
were better. There's nothing like the early 70s for movies. Let me tell you something.
I actually ran all the James Bonds too.
Okay, yeah, I went
With
through a
Sean
period where I
Connery.
watched like all the early James Bonds.
Sean Connery is my favorite James Bond. I
Dude,
think.
they're like, but they're not like good movies, they're fun movies.
Exactly. That's a good way to put it.
Like the first one is like, you forget how like the first one you hear like the $1 million, Mr. Bonds.
Yeah,
you know?
you're like, well,
It's like, whoa, this underground lair, which would cost billions these days. Like, how
right.
much did it go? $1 million. Like, oh my god, $1 million.
Yeah.
And then when
Like,
he's
that's bullshit.
when he's drowning at the end, that's hilarious. He's like trying to claw out of the like nuclear reactor, but he can't because he's got the fake arm, so it can't grip onto the metal, and he falls
That's
down.
Good, yeah.
That was great. What other movies were there? I mean, the first big hit, that wasn't even a hit. The first big hit, James Bond was.
I want to get into those movies.
Goldfinger.
The Stanley Kubrick movies.
Okay.
You know, he's done he's got a website where he's got like 13 movies on there that
I watched a few of them. I'm not like the biggest fan of it.
I'll be honest, man. Like, yeah, it's like I watched one. I was creeped out by it. It was
Yeah.
Lolita.
Oh, okay.
It's
Yeah.
kinda weird.
Yeah, I would never watch that. Yeah, that's
It's a
so
weird
creepy.
movie. I actually didn't know the
I, like, listened-
premise of the movie until like I had watched.
Oh,
the
I know
movie.
the yeah.
After I watched it, I was like, that movie wasn't that bad, and like my coworker was like, dude, the movie's about like a dude who loves like a 12-year-old, and I was like,
Yeah,
what?
dude.
Does
I
he
feel
love
like I
each other?
listened to like some of the
Is she
dude. It's
12 in that?
it's also like one of the highest selling. It like sold over 50 million copies. That book.
Really.
Yeah, it's crazy. It was like so scandalous, and I guess all these perverted older men were like, yeah, I want to hear this
That's so
this
bizarre.
old professor fuck this 12-year-old and pretend she's his niece so he can traffic her all around. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was great. I would never watch the movie. I listened to the audiobook of the book because I'm like, oh, this is great literature, and then I started, and I'm like, this is weird.
Yeah. After I found out what it was happening there, I was like, this is interesting.
But like
weird.
like The Shining, I'm not like a huge fan.
I
Like
didn't think The Shining was that like
Jack
heavy.
Nicholson is like just too weird in that one.
I've been trying to sit down and watch Space Odyssey 20.
Space Odyssey,
something.
boring as fuck.
Really, you watched the whole thing?
Yeah, I did.
know the kind of premise, like the robot.
It's
kinda
not.
turns
It's
on them at
not
the
a
end.
good. It's not good science fiction. It's not like.
Really.
It's just not. It's not my favorite because I like.
Are you able to put yourself in the shoes though of people that would have seen that in theaters and been like, you know, like walking out of
Blown
the theater
away?
that day? It's like almost like mind blowing, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how I would have felt if I saw it in the '60s, but I like
Yeah.
more like realistic. Not realistic, but I like science fictions that are more about like I think science fiction is like not about the future; it's about now.
Yeah.
And I just like it when it explores like humans more and like the inside of them
Mm-hmm.
and like don't get me wrong, like I love Star Wars, but like that's the opposite. Like Star Wars is like this dirty,
It's reached a new point where it's not like
gritty.
they're beating it up. They're beating it down.
Yeah, it's
The
complicated.
carpet doesn't have any more dust in it, and they're still hitting it.
No, I think there's a lot of stuff in Star Wars.
Really?
I
You
just
think? I think
they're
it's
making
good,
like
but
a lot
it's
of
just
bad
lot going
decisions.
on.
I mean, I used to. It's been
Agree.
a while. Like I like listen to like Star Wars books. There's a lot of good shit that.
The last 3 movies I didn't like.
Okay.
I got real into
yeah,
Star
the
Wars
movies
because
haven't been. I
The
didn't-
shows are better than the movies.
Yeah,
lately.
right. Exactly. I think the problem is if you're using like existing characters and stuff, you can't really like do interesting things with them. But there's like
It's a very good point.
I'm
You're
really
very
excited.
limited.
I like the first book I read was like the Thrawn series, which is like one of the best books ever. And so Thrawn is like a great villain, and we're starting to see him.
What
like,
is that? That's with the.
He's an evil imperial like blue alien guy who's like a genius.
That's cool.
He's like actually like really like knows what he's doing. You know, most
That's pretty cool.
most imperial villains like are idiots, you know.
Yeah.
So he's
Yeah, a
like
lot
a
of them
really
are.
cultured, terrifying guy where like he studies the art of civilizations to better exterminate
Yeah.
them and shit. Yeah. And so we saw him like he was mentioned in the Mandalorian and stuff like that. So we're gonna see him. I think there is a lot of good stuff, but yeah, the movies. I didn't even bother seeing them. I saw the first
bad.
movie where they killed Star Killer Base or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I
Rogue
don't-
One was really good.
Yes, and
It's like one of my favorite movies.
and Andor the prequel. Have you seen that one? It's a prequel to Rogue One.
Yeah, the show.
Yeah, the show.
I'm like
yeah.
halfway through it. It's pretty
Yeah,
good.
that's
I'm actually,
really good.
I'm actually enjoying it.
Yeah.
When I first kind of glanced through it, I was like a little annoyed, but then like
Yeah.
I like went back and I rewatched it. I was like, okay, this all
Yeah,
kinda
it's
makes
really
sense.
good.
Because
yeah.
like I mean, just Rogue One was just one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
And like I don't know, I would love to see a whole. If Star Wars was going to do something, if they were ever watching or listening, I'd like for them to go through Darth Vader now.
Okay.
There was a comic book I read. It was Darth Vader before like a lot of the shit
Yeah.
goes on, but he's just like on a tear going around just annihilating planets.
Yeah, that's cool. I also want to see like early early Palpatine.
That'd be fun.
With like Darth Sidious and shit.
Yeah.
Like I want to
That'd
see
be
like
fun.
like him teaching
Yeah, they
him
don't talk a lot
about bringing
about that.
people to life and like
The whole cloning thing he gets into.
and it's amazing how like he tricked everyone. Like how did he get that powerful and shit like that? And he killed his master in his sleep. Like I want to see all that shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I would like to see that.
If you want to see like really weird, like do you like really weird, intense science fiction?
Depends. I just watched that new movie Troll.
And Soviet cinema. Do you like Soviet cinema?
But depends. I mean, the Troll movie was like Dutch, I think.
Yeah. No, it's funny because you know when Russia invaded Ukraine,
Yeah.
they took all the Russian movies off of the IMDb top 500.
That's pretty.
And it was
funny.
just 2 movies, and they were both by Andrei Tchaikovsky.
It's funny that
Tchaikovsky, and they're both really good, like intense, creepy movies. They're like science fiction, psychological ones. One is Solaris, which is kind of like the Russian version of 2003, where it's like this space weird shit's happening at the space station, so they go up to investigate it. And there's this planet that like is causing your like dreams to become reality. So you start slipping. So his wife comes back to life, and then he has to kill her every day. It's just this weird shit. So that one's really good. And then there's Stalker, where there's like this.
Stalker sounds familiar.
Have you seen that? Yeah. So it's beautifully shot. It's this old movie, and actually you can see there's this like abandoned area where like something landed, where if you go in there things start getting weird. And so this Stalker is the guy who takes people on tours there, where there's this room where you get to see all your fantasies or something like that. And they're like, you know, there's like all these weird rules of the zone. It's called the zone, and there's these weird rules they have to sneak in, and like if you go a certain way, weird shit happens. And there's like this scene where they're like in this like old like water like sewage thing, and it turns out that was like contaminated and poisonous, and so that killed the director later. But yeah, they're just like these weird like
wow.
It's just
killed him in real life.
It killed him in real life. Yeah, a little bit later.
Dude, that's the most Russian shit ever.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. But
that's like what you would expect if they were like, if somebody was like, Russian production company, the director.
Yeah,
would be like,
I mean, he's a genius. Everyone accepts he's a genius, but he and it's also like,
and like,
if you want to see like different shit, what
does he have other movies than Stalker out, or?
Well, those are the 2 big ones, and these are both from like the 70s.
I'm gonna check those out.
He's got a bunch of movies. Yeah, he's got a bunch.
That's
of
cool.
Because at a certain point, I was like, I just want to see different shit. Like I'm tired of.
I agree with you there.
You know.
One of my favorite foreign movies I've ever seen. I saw it when I was like 10 or 12.
Yeah.
But it was called Flame and Citron.
Okay, I've never seen.
It's kind of based on a true story. It's about these like 2. They might be Jewish, or they might. I can't remember exactly what they were, but they infiltrated like a Nazi. They infiltrated like the Nazis and like ripped them apart from the inside a little bit.
Cool.
They started taking them down. It's a very good movie. It's captions, but I mean like I honestly need to go back and watch that movie again. But the ending is like one of the most epic ends ever, and it's just like based on a true story. It's good.
Here's another like a really epic, amazing piece of cinema, which I've only ever heard the title in French, but I think it's in English too. It's called The Battle for Algiers, or La Bataille d'Algiers. This is it's too. Like this. I'd like to write that one. It's shot by that's a really good, because this is like right when they started like shooting. Like the Italians kind of pioneered the idea of like, let's not shoot on a soundstage. Let's actually go out into the city and shoot it in real, on location. Yeah. And so this is like this epic. It's shot by Italian people, but the language of the film is French and Algerian. So, all subtitles. But it's about the Algerian resistance to the French.
Wow.
And it's just this amazing, like, story of these people, like, resisting the French.
I love a story like that.
In Algiers.
That sounds like that one movie where it was like they fight in the woods?
No, this is all, like, urban stuff.
Huh. There was one where they, like...
Yeah.
I guess it was... I don't even know what movie that is, but it's one where they like it's like a little group of people that kind of band together and take on like a large military type of entity. But I I think Christian
Yeah.
Bale was in it. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a new one. This one's from like I don't know, the 50s or 60s.
Oh wow.
Or something.
Okay, that's even more impressive though when they do the ones like that.
This was groundbreaking. Like, did you ever see the movie Bicycle Thieves? It's like that
No.
style.
What was Bicycle Thieves?
It's just about these
Bicycle
people
thieves?
in Rome trying to make it, and they get their bicycles stolen. I don't know. It's this whole thing.
That sounds wild.
I haven't seen it in a while, but yeah. But it's just like, it's just like, yeah, that's not as that's like more like beautiful in the simplicity of it. This is more beautiful in like what amazing thing they did. Like there's certain movies that are just like groundbreaking. Like I've never seen this, but apparently the original Beauty and the Beast, which was shot in France during World War II, like occupation by Germany, where the Beast is like all real hair, and he's like, it's like this whole like,
wow.
It's probably like, probably the story of that is more interesting than the actual movie, but but stuff like that like fascinates me.
That is fascinating.
Yeah.
Though. I do think about like the directional way of things how things were shot back then. It's always a fun thing to think about. You're like, man, you think they did this for this scene, or you think they actually went there for just this one scene? But I don't know. I love shit like that. I love hearing the little stories like that. I mean, even with like I was watching The Grinch last night.
Okay.
And there's a scene where Jim Carrey goes over to the table to look for an outfit.
Yeah.
And he rips the tablecloth off the table.
Uh-huh.
And they said when he was shooting that scene, he was supposed to rip the tablecloth off the table and have all the shit fly everywhere, right?
Yeah.
But instead, he ripped it off the table, and none of the things moved.
Yeah.
So like then he went back to the table and swiped it all off. And I just like love those little stories like that. Because then like when you go back and you watch it, you're like, wow, that's like funny. Because like this man is that good.
And also, that movie is probably similar to the Beauty and the Beast story in that he had to have this like huge like prosthetic.
Oh yeah.
For
ridiculous
it was like
amounts.
It was like 3 hours or 6 hours, something ridiculous in the makeup
like 10
chair.
10 hours of makeup. Yeah.
Yeah, and he said he had to do it 100 times. But this was like I remember. But it's also this is like he's getting paid $20 million to do it.
Yeah.
So he's like I was so unbearable that we hired a CIA torture expert to like train me how to bear this process. He said, whenever you start spiraling, you do something different. When all of a sudden you start like feeling that like the pain of like how horrible this is, just kick your foot against the chair. Just smoke a cigarette. Just start hitting a punching bag. Just break a window. It's like so whenever something weird starts happening, you fucking switch.
Start doing that with my stand-up sets.
Yeah, right. I mean, that is what you should be doing with your whenever
somebody just like no laughs, I just like slam my glass.
Yeah, no, I mean that's what I do. Like I had a Philly's Funniest 2 years ago in the second round.
Mm-hmm.
I came in with like the wrong mindset. It was like
that's the worst.
I want to do my set from beginning to end, and I want to get a great tape.
That was me with the robotic. You felt robotic?
I wanted it to be.
I ended up.
I wanted it to be robotic because that's how it went in the first round. But here's the thing: I followed this comedian who killed so hard. He killed so hard, and he killed so hard using the N-word a million times.
Oh my god!
which is fine. He's black. He can do that.
I thought he was right. I was like, oh god.
But then I come and follow it, and I'm like starting off pretty low energy, and what I should have done is like. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot different. Like I'm a lot different than him,
Yeah.
But I just came out and just started going into it, and it's just bombing horribly. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, okay, yeah, this is where you see like, hey, I'm better than this. So that's when like the gloves come off. You're like, okay, I'm just gonna be loose as fuck and say whatever. And I said something along the lines of like, oh, what? You were expecting me to be the same as him? I tried high-fiving him and like I missed it. I'm way lamer than him or whatever. I'm not a cool black dude or something like that. And then I got him back or whatever. But that's how I should have been in the beginning, instead of just going to the plan. And so, like, whenever you start bombing, that's when you just start loosen up and do whatever the fuck you go to your instincts right away.
Oh, especially when you have that moment in your brain where you're like, this is not this is not good enough.
Yeah.
Right now,
Mhm.
and you're still doing your set. You're like,
Yeah.
this is not good enough right now. Like,
Yeah.
you have to hit the fucking like,
Yeah.
choose your own adventure now. We're going
Yeah.
left here. You have to make a hard left turn and just start changing things
And
up.
part of me thinks like maybe that's how I should be like all the time, every time. You know what I
And that's
mean?
why I'm kind of moving to. I've been
Yeah.
better at being myself on stage, which is great.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know. It's not
But
so
I do
much
think
like-
you have to have like certain material
I agree.
that can kill. But yeah, it's hard to find that out. But that's what's so amazing about like high pressure situations. I wish I was in them more often
Yeah.
because you learn so much more in those high pressure situations than you ever do, at a shitty
yeah.
open mic or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. I
It's-
couldn't agree more.
Yeah, so you're a piece of shit.
But no, man, James, it's been fantastic having you on. Gonna have you on again soon.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
We'll have a great time. I'll get you back on.
And maybe you'll give me that $30 you owe me.
But you have anything you want to plug? I'll get
So
the
I
fat part
just want to
soon.
plug Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin is doing really
That's
hot.
good, yeah.
This new coin called James Coin, but also my YouTube channel. I've got NFTs based on every video you can buy. But just James McAliney on YouTube. That's where I put the most work in.
Put some stuff in the bio for you so you can click it.
Awesome. Yeah, check down below. Also put my Bitcoin wallet link down below too. So, yeah, man, I'm just a hustler on my grind.
Yeah, and I can definitely reassure that. Catch us soon. We'll be back with more Tough Times 2.
Back made a sequel.